Awesome. So the first question is really, how is your company trying to approach sustainability?
Okay. We do it in a variety of ways. So from the product ingredients, we have something called the Slush Fund. The S is sort of sustainable, and of course the source called Lush. We have a separate buying amount, so it's roughly £1 million a year that we use to give back to our suppliers. So it helps them to set up more sustainable organisations within their local communities. And it's a nice change from us just buying the ingredients, leaving them to it, and us making a lot of profit, and then continuing to live in the not great environments that we found them in. We also have slush fund ingredients. So those are ingredients that have come out of sustainable programs they've set up, and basically it uses an ecosystem that works with the natural design of plants working together. So it's basically kind of like growing moringa trees, which grow really tall and shady leaves, with coffee beans that need the shade to grow. That provides nutrients for the soil, it provides products for us, and it provides products for the local community, and jobs and money for the local community as well. So that's what the permaculture is based about. The three main principles are care for the earth, care for the people, and fair sharing. Another way we're sustainable, we're not a fair trade company because we'd have to pay for the logo, and our founders think it's more use to spend that money elsewhere instead of just paying to carry a logo. And I won't be surprised if they've put the money we would spend on it directly into things like the slush fund. We do use a lot of fairly traded ingredients, so cocoa butter that we use is fairly traded, shea butter is fairly traded, but again we can't list ourselves as fair trade because we don't pay to carry the logo. Another thing we do, we also have an in-store recycling policy that's open to customers, so almost every pot we use is black. Black plastic isn't recycled locally, so we have in-house recycling, but if you put black plastic in that, they have to throw it away because they don't know what to do with it. At Lush, we encourage customers to bring back 5 clean pots once they've used them, and we'll give them a free product to kind of thank them for bringing it back, and then we send it all back to the factory and they recycle it in-house there. That also works with our clear pots, which came in after the initial black pot policy, but we wanted to include everything just to make sure we know that everything's being recycled, so it's basically a 5-pot policy. Another thing we do, which is pretty much throughout the company and every product, we use fresh ingredients where possible. So instead of focusing on synthetics, we do have a few because we haven't found alternatives just yet, but we focus on using fresh products and local products where possible. So here our sea salt and seaweed is collected in pool every morning, just hand collected by our compounding team. In like Lush Japan, they use the rapeseed oil from a local source in Japan. We try to keep everything as local as possible, and based on the country that the Lush is in, the products are made in that country. So all Lush UK products are made in the UK, all Lush America products are made in America. I think they have 3 main sites in America, but it's all made locally to reduce our carbon footprint in that way. Lush also taxes themselves. Well, Lush UK anyway, I'm not sure about outside of that, but every time someone travels by plane, we have a set amount, I think it's 50, but I'm not sure, 50 carbon tonnes that we tax ourselves for travelling by plane, and we use that money to go to like green organisations to help them with tackling climate change and things like that. We also encourage, because of that, we encourage things like car sharing, travelling by train, just to reduce the carbon footprint. Again, like I said, it's UK based. I'm not sure how effective that's been overseas, but it's definitely something we do in Lush UK.
Awesome.
What else do we do? We recycle bottle tops in stores as well, so every time a customer buys a bottle, we make sure they know at the till that they can come and recycle it in store. That's the most I can think of. And we recycle boxes in store. I think a lot of companies do that, but in line with our ethos, it's just one of the many things that we have going on in the store.
So that kind of leads in, you pretty much answered the second question too, which is we kind of are going to ask you what areas of sustainability you guys think are most important, and we can see it's keeping things local, recycling, trying to reuse, things like that. Is there anything else, maybe like areas you guys focus on?
Again, with the permaculture idea, we do kind of enforce the 3 main principles across products, so beyond the slush fund. So it's caring for each other, fairly sharing, and caring for the environment. One of the ways in which we kind of care for each other is we have charity pot parties in the store. So the charity pot itself is a product. It's a hand and body lotion. It's made using 6 ingredients from the Slush Fund, so that's already supporting communities worldwide. And everything we make except VAT goes straight to the grassroots charities that we support, so it's all charitable. And the fact that we support grassroots charities is even more beneficial because it makes more difference to support a grassroots charity, which is a charity that makes less than 250k a year, than support a charity that's got CEOs making 250k a year. It's just more useful to do that.
Definitely.
And the charities we support are also local to the store as well. So a recent charity pot party we had was with People in Motion, and they're a charity set up about 2 years ago in Worcester to help people that have been displaced by the civil movement from Syria to various places in Europe. We're having another one in a few weeks to support the nappy loans that we do. There's a nappy library in Worcester/Hereford, and that charity pot party is to kind of support them and raise awareness about what they're doing to encourage people to use reusable nappies, let them know more about it because it's something not too widely known. But we do charity pot parties quite regularly, so that's how we kind of support other people in that sense. And of course with the return and getting a free face mask system, we're kind of supporting the customers because they save £7. We get to recycle stuff and everyone's happy. Yeah.
Awesome. So, I mean, you've talked about the benefits, but just if you could maybe narrow down some very specifics, what are the benefits of promoting sustainability inside of a company?
It's beneficial to staff education because when I started at the company, I'd recently gone vegan. I was kind of loosely aware that they were kind of sustainable, eco-friendly, which is part of the reason I applied for the job. But it's great for education because they do so much, and they want to make sure you know about it as well, because when we talk to customers, we're encouraged to mention at least one sustainable thing that we do within a consultation. So it's encouraging us to be educated, and from that encouraging us to educate the local environment, because one thing that I think is a problem with sustainability worldwide is that quite a few companies are sustainable, but they don't say anything about it, which might be a problem, because if with not being sustainable, people already do that just unaware, but when you tell them they're not being sustainable, show them what's going on. For example, with the harvesting of mica, that involves a lot of child labour where they're underpaid, if paid at all, and it's a very dangerous job. If we showed more people that use makeup that that's what's happening for them to get a bit of makeup quite cheaply, they would feel worse about it. They would boycott certain companies, because people in general, when they hear the ethics of how most things are sourced, they're not happy with it. But because we tell customers that, they feel even better about shopping with us. So it's definitely great for encouraging our personal awareness as staff and encouraging the local community's awareness. No.
We were just doing a little interview, and then we were going to get some coffee after.
That's fine.
Awesome. Thank you.
But yes, that's a great one, and it is also good for, well, pretty much my education, because I'm on a course that kind of links to sustainability. So we have like a sustainability module that I'm doing, and it just helps to put the theory into practice, because it's well and good learning about it in a classroom, but it's not the same as actually putting it into practice, and being at Lush just helps me to do that.
I mean, as you can tell, it's kind of what we're trying to do too,
Yeah.
is bring it to fruition here. So basically the last question really is, what vision do you have for the city of Worcester in terms of sustainability, between people, businesses, organizations, anything like that?
I think Worcester is one of the few cities that are in a good place to be more sustainable, because when you look at it on the map, there's a lot of greenery down here, which is positive. Like, you see more green than you do grey space, which is buildings. I know the uni's new library is very sustainable. It has ranked us second in Europe for sustainability, but again, they need to promote that, because not many people in the student body actually know that. Like, you actually have to look for it. And we have a lot of local businesses here as well, which is quite nice to see. Like, when you walk around Reindeer Court, it's a good place to go to. You see a lot of local businesses, so there's certainly a lot of opportunity for Worcester to be sustainable, but we also again need to just shout a bit more loudly about it. Just let people know, because we also house the Vegan and Veggies Fair here annually now. By the looks of things, it's going to stay here as well. And when I was there, people have literally travelled from all over the country just to be here, just to represent their businesses. So we do have a good starting point as we are, but I think promotion is a major key to making the city kind of embrace it a bit more.
Well, that's it. I mean, you answered the last question already with flying colors. You killed it. So,
Okay.
I mean, that's really it. If there's anything else you'd like to say about your company or anything like that?
We do more. If you want to go online, and I think it's Lush Canada are the best for it, search Lush Canada and they have a Lush kind of library. It's all the articles about our ethics and what we do. And if you go to Lush UK and just search article, they'll all come up, and it's a range of articles talking about sustainability, the slush fund, our ethical buying, and why we use certain animal products, because we are 100% vegetarian. We were 83% vegan at the last stats check, but that was about a year or two ago, and we have switched out some of the product range from then, so our whole bath bomb range is now fully vegan. The only vegan things we now have, non-vegan things we now have, are the honey, which is as ethically sourced as you can possibly have it. I watched the video on how we source it. It's just so cool. Just look it up, guys. And lanolin, which is a byproduct of pretty much washing wool. So it's not a direct animal product as such, but obviously it's obviously not vegan. But everything else is now vegan. So fully vegan bath bomb range. Our chocolate's now vegan. The milk we use is now vegan. We're taking positive steps in that way. Yes. We are.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it. That was
You're welcome.
exceptional.